Ladies and gentlemen, IMRPC and VER1REV Enterprise is very much honored and privileged today to have as our very distinguished guest in our program. He is the President and Co-owner of Mineral Resources International, one of the world's leading ingredient supplier and manufacturer of high-quality mineral ingredients, supplements. He was also the former commissioner of Weber County. He has traveled to several countries worldwide, promoting his company's mission to improve global well-being through mineral supplementation. Ladies and gentlemen, our very distinguished guest, Mr. Bruce Anderson.
Thank you, Angie.
And for your greetings, sir, first.
Let me just say that from the Anderson family, from all of the employees of Mineral Resources International, we are so grateful to be on this show today and to send our love to the people of the Philippines, and especially to the people here in Naga City.
Well, we warmly welcome you, sir, to the Philippines. And how many times have you been visiting the Philippines, and how do you find our country?
Well, this is actually the 5th time I've been to the Philippines, and every time I just love it. The people are so warm, and it is always a pleasure to come back among friends here in the Philippines.
Well, sir, your company, Mineral Resources International, also well known here as MRI, is tagged as one of the world's leading manufacturer of high-quality food-grade mineral supplements. When and how was your company established?
Actually, we started in 1969, and my father read a series of newspaper articles written by Dr. George W. Crane. And he wrote that if people would drink around an ounce of seawater a day, that many of the degenerative diseases that we experience in America and literally around the world would disappear because they're specifically related to mineral deficiencies. Now, one of these articles really struck my father because we live on the shores of the Great Salt Lake, which is an inland sea. And the Great Salt Lake is around 6 to 10 times more concentrated than seawater. When we first started, he actually went down and got some of the brine from the lake. We had a neighbor lady by the name of Fern Fowers, and she was complaining that she could not kneel down to say her prayers at night because her knees were so stiff and sore. And she had been reading the same article, so when my father went and got some of the water from the Great Salt Lake, she started putting that in her oatmeal in the morning for breakfast. And she ran out, but when my father talked to her later, she said that her symptoms decreased and she didn't want to ask for more, but then after she ran out, her symptoms started to come back again. So she was very convinced about the healing power of the minerals from the Great Salt Lake.
So,
and,
the story.
and that really got us excited about what could be done with the product, and it really started our mission to really help the health of people around the world.
We'll be talking much on the brine or the seawater from the Great Salt Lake. Could you provide us of some information of what Great Salt Lake really is?
Sure. As I mentioned, the Great Salt Lake is around 6 to 10 times more concentrated than seawater naturally. And the thing that we have done is we have developed an all-natural solar evaporation and precipitation process where we bring in the water from the Great Salt Lake into harvesting ponds. It goes sequentially from one pond to another and gets more and more concentrated. As the sodium chloride concentrates, it will crystallize and then drop to the bottom and precipitate out. Therefore, we're able to reduce almost all of the sodium while concentrating the other very important minerals and trace elements. So we find that the product is very rich in magnesium. It has a wide range of balance of other minerals and trace minerals. And we learned over the years that the mineral balance in seawater and the mineral balance in the Great Salt Lake is very similar in balance, and that even seawater has a very similar mineral balance to those fluids found in the human body. And so we've learned that it's a great source to find a balanced source of ideal supplementation. We also learned over the years that the product is in the perfect form. The minerals and trace minerals found in the Great Salt Lake are in a perfect ionic form. And ionic means that the minerals are capable of conducting the body's electrical energy. Every time your brain thinks, every time your brain sends signals to every muscle, every time your muscles move, there are electrical impulses in the body, and these electrical impulses are conducted and generated through the minerals and trace minerals. So they're absolutely essential for a high quality of life and health.
Great Salt Lake is one of the leading sources of mineral, and there are other companies that harvest brine or seawater either for food grade or non-food grade minerals. What makes the products manufactured by MRI very different and very special?
Thank you for the question. First of all, Mineral Resources International and the Anderson family was the original producers of minerals and trace minerals from the Great Salt Lake for food grade purposes. So our family has been doing this business since 1969. No other company has done that. There have been other suppliers of industrial grade minerals, but our focus has always been to improve health and well-being of people around the world. So because of that focus, we have been able to get the balances to a much more perfected state than any other company. So some of the other companies that sell products, they originally even started out with our product, and then they decided to go to a cheaper version later, maybe to save money or whatever. But now, IMRPC still is the only company in the Philippines that exclusively sells the original product from the Anderson family, who has that 45-year experience. And our product is sourced from ingredients that were designed to be food grade from start to finish. And that has not been the case with many of our other competitors.
So that's it. So for our listeners, you have to listen well, okay? Our executives have personally visited the ponds of Utah, and they have witnessed the natural solar evaporation techniques utilized by North Shore Unlimited to convert the brine from the Great Salt Lake to concentrated mineral drops. What are the reasons that MRI opted to adopt this method of concentrating the minerals?
Great question. The first reason is because it's a natural process. And let me just explain a little bit about the process. It is a 2-year process. And many people say, why does it take so long? Well, why does great wine take so long? It's because it takes as long as it takes to get the very best product. And we're not a company that's going to cut corners. We're a company that wants to get the very best product for the very best results. Our products are designed to deliver miraculous results to people all over the world. So that's why we do the method we do, and we are the only company that uses the method that we use. We've heard of other companies that claim that they can make their product in 4 months. I think that's great, that they can speed up and do whatever they're going to do, but we know our process takes as long as it takes to get the optimal results.
Okay, so people are more aware and knowledgeable about vitamins, but not much about minerals. Are there reasons why your family preferred to manufacture and market mineral supplements rather than vitamins?
Absolutely. It's interesting that there's a lot more hype about vitamins, but in reality, minerals are much more foundational to our health than vitamins. Without minerals, vitamins cannot work. Without vitamins, minerals can work. And without vitamins, we can still live, but without minerals, we will not sustain life. Minerals are absolutely essential for life, and that's one of the definitions of essential minerals and essential nutrients. We have to have them to live, and if we don't have adequate quantities, our health suffers. And when we get adequate quantities again, then our health can improve. And that's what minerals fall in that category.
Okay, so I had learned from the seminars conducted by Dr. Paragus that mineral deficiency is the prevalent health problem not only domestically but also globally. Do you have any idea and why this is so?
That's a great question, and this has developed over years, and we can look back to the wisdom of even the Holy Bible and God's words from the very beginning when He said, multiply and replenish the earth. And we as a people have forgot that great advice to replenish the earth. We don't put back the minerals, the nutrients back in the soil. And if the minerals and nutrients are not in the soil, then they simply cannot be in the foods that we eat. And if they are not in the foods that we eat, then we will suffer the consequences of poor health. So those are the seeds that we have sown by not following the advice of the greatest chemist of all.
Of course.
And he knows what we need to have bounties in our life. And so this source, where do we go when we need to replenish? We go where those minerals were lost. And water only runs downhill. And so in our case, the minerals end up in the Great Salt Lake. We can look to the seas, but many times the seas are polluted. We have a very pristine operation, far away from any civilization. And it's a beautiful place, very pristine, and that's where the minerals are. So we need to replace the minerals where they go. And if we look to modern farming, we get what we pay for in farming. Do we pay extra for spinach that has more magnesium? I've never seen a higher price for spinach with more magnesium. Do we pay extra for apples with more zinc, for example? No, we don't. So why would there be an incentive for the farmers to make sure that that nutrition is there? And so without the minerals being in the foods, we need to look to supplementation. And so with modern farming, they use NPK fertilizer. Well, that's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but that's not all the minerals we need to sustain good health and vitality. We need the full spectrum of up to 60 minerals combined together and balanced to maintain optimal health.
MRI emphasized on the importance of our minerals as in ionic. Why is it very important?
Okay, that's a great question. First of all, ionic minerals are capable of passing through semi-permeable membrane to be absorbed. They are extremely small. Some of the mineral products on the market are called colloidal, and colloidal minerals are suspended in solution, whereas ionic minerals are actually in true solution. Now, if I were to give you a comparison of the size difference between an ion of magnesium and a colloid of magnesium, if an ion of magnesium were 1 millimeter across, that's just like a little tiny BB, then a colloid of magnesium would be more than 1 kilometer across. And that's why they're not so easily absorbed. So the absorption is the first thing. The second thing is concentration. And the third thing is balance when we look at minerals. But ionic, that form, means that not only are they capable of passing through semi-permeable membrane to be absorbed, but they're also capable of conducting and generating the body's electrical energies, which is also essential for every process in the body.
Your products, especially Ionique Concentrated Mineral Drops or Ionique CMD, had been marketed in the Philippines for quite almost a decade now, and we have personally received enormous testimonials of amazing benefits of your products given to our fellow men. You are also informed of this, I believe, from your travels to several other countries. How do the people there accept MRI CMD?
Great question. that is what keeps us going. You know, we have competitors that throw out all kinds of things about us, try to compete in unfair ways, but the thing that keeps us going is the interaction that we're able to have with people throughout the world. And literally, I've had the opportunity to be on stage when people come up, tears coming down their face. For example, in China, saying, "谢谢, thank you, thank you. You've changed my life. I have my life back. I have my health back." And I think if there is any gift that I could give to someone, there is no greater gift that I could give than the gift of good health. You know, people search after money much of their lives, and yet when they lose their health, that becomes the most important thing that they have. Maybe after their families. But their health is so critical that they will waste their whole fortune to try to get their health back. And when we see people who have recovered their health, when the doctors say there is nothing that can be done, and they have their health back with tears down their face, I think there is no better thing that I can do. And that's the kind of reception that we get here and around the world. It's so gratifying.
I really can relate to that. I know that story. I know the feeling, and I really agree with you. Since these are merely testimonials, most medical professionals are very skeptical of what Ionique CMD can provide, especially to the physically suffering individuals. As far as I know, it is only Dr. Paragus who is fully confident on the potency of Ionique CMD. Can you comment on this?
Well, I will say this, Dr. Paragus has been a pioneer in not only recognizing the value of the minerals. Now, there are others around the world who recognize the value of the minerals, and our family has been the pioneer with the minerals. But Dr. Paragus has recognized the importance of the marriage between the minerals and pure water, and getting adequately hydrated, and the wonderful miracles that can be achieved through health, through not only the minerals, but getting adequately hydrated through pure water. And that's what makes Dr. Paragus so unique, and his message so profound and so powerful to people not only here, but that message is starting to spread into other areas around the world.
As you have observed in the past few days, we do not just use Ionique Concentrated Mineral Drops as dietary supplement, but we go beyond using it to help resolve ailments. You were presented on the concept tubig at mga minerals, or water and minerals. That combines the use of both water and minerals as a new approach to health management. You do have any comments on the concept?
We have known about the importance of minerals, but what Dr. Paragus and Ma'am Vernie Velasquez has taught us is that there is a wonderful marriage with the power of ionic minerals and the power of pure water in not only maintaining good health, but also getting back health once we've lost it. Water is essential for every function in the body. Our bodies are made up mostly of water, but pure water by itself will not entirely serve us. Minerals by themselves, without the water, will not entirely serve us. It is by combining the two that has brought the power of healing to a much greater level than we even knew of ourselves. And we're so grateful for the partnership that we have, where we can share our knowledge, and new knowledge has come to us and shared back and forth to really create a product and a concept, not just a product, but a concept that brings miracles to healing, and where it was not as dramatic or profound as before. So the results that we're seeing are so much greater, and and people are getting so excited because they're getting results where they have been told that there is no more hope for them. They're finding hope where they are told that there is nothing else they can do, and they're now getting results.
Is there a reason why it would be very important to have a product which was made from the beginning to be human nutritional product versus setting ingredient from an industrial source and converting the same to a food product just to be competitive?
That is such a good question, because that's exactly what has happened in the marketplace. And what our operation does, the Andersons take a product directly from the Great Salt Lake. They take the brine directly from the Great Salt Lake, and from start to finish, that product, those ingredients, the brine, has been processed in such a way to ensure that it is optimal for healthy nutrition. We take great care to make sure that there are no points of contamination along the way in the process. We take great care to know that nothing else has been introduced. Whereas if we were to get a product from an industrial source, and let's say this industrial supplier had no idea that the end product was going to be used for human nutrition, they might not process it in such a way as to take care that the product would be safe or valuable for human nutrition. So I think that sometimes you might not be able to taste the difference, but there is a risk that there might be something introduced along the way, and that risk is much greater if you start with an industrial product versus going with a proven leader in the industry that has 45 years of experience in extracting and marketing and processing minerals and trace minerals from the Great Salt Lake specifically for human nutrition purposes. Another example, would there be a difference if I asked for a glass of water and someone poured me a glass of water from a bottled water, or if they went and got the glass of water from the toilet? Well, we think, does it matter? Does that matter? I might not be able to taste the difference right now. I might not be able to smell the difference in the water. But there is a risk there. And we don't do that, of course, because there's a potential risk. And so we want to know that the product that we consume, that we take into our bodies, has been processed with the idea that it will be food grade from start to finish.
Yeah, right. So can you determine the difference between these two?
Yeah, in fact, we have looked at our competitors' products, and we do a simple test, and we can see they're not exactly the same as our product. Can I say that they're bad for human nutrition? No, I can't say that. Can I say that there is a risk? I believe there is a higher risk than what our products have because of the way that we process our products from start to finish. But we can test the difference between our product. You might not be able to taste the difference, but we can test the difference, and you can see that the products are certainly different. So many of our competitors claim it's exactly the same thing as is sold by Mineral Resources International. That simply is not the case. We can do very simple tests to find out that indeed the products are different. The products that are sold through competing companies are not the same. The concentration is different, and you can test the minerals and find out that the balances are not exactly the same. So there are differences, and I think it's a much better bet to go with a company that has dedicated our whole lives. The Anderson family now is in the third generation. We have our children and even grandchildren, great-grandchildren from Hartley Anderson coming along. And we have dedicated our lives to this mission of improving global well-being through mineral nutrition. And we don't cut corners.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful interview, for this very wonderful interview, and for sharing your time with us.
Thank you.
And we hope that you enjoy your stay in the Philippines, and we look forward for your return soon. And once again, we extend our most sincere gratitude to you on behalf of the Filipino people. Maraming salamat, Sir Bruce.
Maraming salamat po, and thank you to you all. You know, we could not do our mission without all of our distributors, all of the consumers. That's what keeps us going. That's what allows us to continue to do more research, to continue to distribute the highest quality mineral supplement available in the world. Thank you very much.